All right, give me a minute to find this video and get set up, but I want to talk a little bit about April's energies and the new earth. So give me a second to kind of find this feed, pull it up, do my usual. If you're just finding me, please take a second to, when this loads, share this video out too. It always really helps. All right, give me a minute. I'm going to be doing Starseed Oracle cards today and an energy report. I think it's really needed, actually. I wasn't going to go live. I haven't really been live all week, but I did want to go live so that we can talk a little bit about some of these energetic shifts that are ahead of us for the remaining of the month of April. So I want to talk about a little bit about what's going to kind of go on in the next several weeks. I think it's kind of needed too, just to kind of do an energy report. So give me a moment to share this feed out. If you're going to want a card, literally just go ahead and leave a comment. So I haven't been live for a while. I've been kind of in my own little worlds. And that's okay with me sometimes. Sometimes it gets like a bit much for me. Everything goes on, right? I've been in my own kind of like inner worlds as well. A lot of you guys are noticing that this is an amazing time to be exploring your inner worlds, whether through astral travel, meditation, things like that. All right, so please share this out. I'm doing that now. I know that sometimes these videos do take a second to load off of YouTube, so a lot of people were like, clicking on it and it wasn't loaded yet. That can happen with the live videos. I'm taking a second to share this out. Do the same if you're finding me or whatever. All right, so we have a lot to discuss. I'm going to try to stay away from some of the things that are kind of going on. I think it's really important, kind of the lesson that I've taken out of all of this is that we create our own reality, literally, that we all have our own world. And when we talk about a new earth or a new state of consciousness, this is also on an individual level as well. But for the first time, we're seeing the effects of this awakening kind of, we'll say, really affecting the structures of the matrix. I anticipate that there's going to be a lot kind of going on. I want to remind you guys that you did not come here to be giving your political opinion. You did not come to Earth to be giving people your political opinion or your thoughts on what's going on with some of these lower timelines. I see a lot of kind of like people not getting along, we'll say, and I think it's really important to remember everyone has their perspective, and perspective is not needed. We need to really step into our role as light workers now during this time. It's actually time to set aside these things, right? Some of these things are playing out on lower timelines, and it is important that we're remembering our training as we continue to progress through the rest of this year, right? We've had a lot of training to get us here, and I see a lot of people are kind of getting distracted. And yeah, if your focus is on kind of, we'll say, things going on with the world or politics, then it is serving as nothing more than a distraction to you in your everyday life. And we're going through some really powerful shifts right now that are affecting our reality and are affecting our timeline. So the best thing that we can do is to continue to focus on our own kind of individual path and doing this kind of spiritual work. So I think that we're seeing a lot of, we'll say, heart chakra kind of issues surfacing right now. That is to be expected. I think it's really Egyptian too. I really talk about some of these Egyptian history stories, and they talk about the afterlife, and I think of an awakening as a death of the ego. And you, in some regard, if you've had a spiritual awakening, you've probably finished Earth School and gone through a death of the ego, and you're kind of waking up in another realm or another dimension. And that doesn't shock me because we're going through these, we'll say, Stargate kind of portholes. We're going through these, we'll say, space energies, and it doesn't really surprise me because that really plays into also our ascension. And I love getting into really scientific things. Like we could talk about just what has changed in terms of the energies that we're experiencing on a planetary level. So we're in a K3 index right now, right? And that's pretty normal now as we're going through these kind of geomagnetic storms, but we know that they can affect people's health, the heart chakra, things like that. We can also see that there is an increase occurring with the Schumann resonance, or the frequency of the planet. There is an expansion of consciousness that is occurring, and that is going to most affect our heart chakra. We can see that there are, while we're waiting for some type of an event, right? Some type of an event, we can see that there are these bursts of energy that are coming into the planet, and they are creating their own events for a lot of people. That it's almost like a flash, that the body's kind of going through this and maybe can't handle it. Maybe people are having a hard time as they're trying to pass through these portholes without doing enough purification. We discuss all sorts of fun things here, especially with things that are going on the planet. And we're talking. I was asked, when is there a disclosure going to happen? And I said, well, first off, there needs to be a disclosure of ascension before there's a disclosure of aliens, right? There is no disclosure occurring of what's really happening on the planet. I'm not sure if it is that people are viewing what's going on with the collective and the planet from a very third dimensional kind of basic perspective, and they're not able to see past and into the spiritual with some of the explanations that are being given for some of the things that are going to continue to unfold on this planet. This is an awakening. This is a spiritual awakening, and I think we can see a lot of problems with these systems that are designed to really keep people at a lower level of consciousness. There are a lot of people that have seen things wrong with the world and are kind of rooted through healthcare systems and prescribed medications, and then at that point they're convinced that the world is perfect and great, and there must be something wrong with the person having a hard time adapting or adjusting to life on this planet. I think that we all have this deep understanding that maybe the systems of the third dimension are no longer going to serve us as we are, we'll say, evolving or ascending into this light being once again, this spiritual, we'll say, being of light once again. And so these systems, they may serve a purpose in these lower kind of dimensions, but as the frequencies are rising, we are seeing, we'll say, the beginning of a collapse of the third dimension. When we talk about this stuff, they talk about how in the blink of an eye, pretty much things may change around here. And I think we're seeing the beginning phases of this, and also kind of a trial run to see where people are at as well. There are billions of people that are living on this planet, and everyone is feeling the effects of these energies in some type of way, whether it's people not feeling good, getting irritable, confusion, not really understanding. I know there's a lot of fear going on because of like the mainstream media and some of the things that are going on as well. So we kind of have a lot happening in one place. This situation is going to continue to evolve. I see a lot of negative things that could come out of some of this, right? Like long-term kind of things, where I see a lot of moving to, we'll say, things that could transpire with the collective, with financial matters. Maybe there's a lot of talk about moving our currency to a digital currency. I have concerns about what would happen if we did that and everyone was hooked up to a different monetary system, and then a solar flash does come along in an event and takes down, we'll say, a lot of technology as we know it, right? Because we can see that these energies are increasing. So we see a lot of, we'll say, parties kind of struggling to figure out how to solve some of these issues. And we know that with this ascension and this awakening, that if the world or your world is getting more and more chaotic, it is a call for us to go within, and that we need to manifest this peace within. And a lot of people are getting a lot of challenging lessons, especially until they wake up, and that is so that we change and that we start to create on different patterns. So what I see happening, aside from what the news is telling people is happening, that this planet is being blasted with these energies. I have a good understanding of energy, and also with the earth energies, and I remind people that I got really sick doing my own ascension and almost died. That's after years of detoxing and purifying. So I can imagine with the rest of the planet getting ready. Hold on one second. Can you just leave it? Just leave it there? Can you leave it? Thank you. Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know how. Sorry. Okay, thank you. All right, unpack. All right, so I think that there's a lot of energies coming into the planet, and we know that there is a need to purify. Well, why isn't this being presented all over the news, right? Why are we not talking about some of the disturbances that are happening with the earth, with some of these energies coming in? These energies are powerful, and a lot of people are having a hard time adapting to them, but these are fifth dimensional frequencies that are being blasted to this planet. And that's what I kind of want to talk about, where we're headed. So I think that we're seeing for the first time since 2012 and since an increase in these energies, that suddenly we're seeing a real increase in these energies and it's becoming noticeable, right? And we can see that throughout the collective, where I already see it, that a lot of people were already sick and struggling and not getting the answers from healthcare and things like that. So they will tell you on mainstream media that there is a virus going around. And aside from all of that, I mean, I just like to throw out the question. This is something that appears to be targeting people's RNA and DNA strands. And how do we know this isn't from the energies and being downloaded? So some of us may be downloading different things, right? And I believe that we're going to need to really do some inner work and choose to align with the new earth to kind of end up there as well. So there's a lot of people learning. There's a lot of intense energies coming in. I know there's a narrative that there's a lot of scary stuff happening and everyone's going to die, but I want to remind people that that isn't really the narrative when you're kind of on the ascension path as well. That's more of kind of an old 3D narrative that is being given to people without like a lot of, we'll say, understanding about what's really kind of going on with this awakening. So the way I see it, there's a lot of intense energy coming into the planet. It can be normal if it's making people not feel good. We're going to go through such an intense year energetically this year in terms of our physical body, where we're going through this huge, massive change. This is not something that is done overnight. We're going to continue to, we'll say, gradually work kind of on this path. But as we're going through these energies, it is doing things to us, right? It is triggering a deeper awakening. It is activating our DNA. It is, right? It's doing all sorts of things, but we're losing density. We're going to become lighter and lighter, almost like an actual light being once again. So our body's going through a huge change. Don't get scared if you guys don't feel good going through some of these shifts. So there is kind of a fear, like people are like, oh my God, I have the flu-like symptoms, and they're panicking like I must have coronavirus. But these are also kind of ascension symptoms, and they could be, things happening from the energies. So we went through this 4-4 porthole, which was a lot of energy. A lot of people were feeling that at that point. Right? Maybe some of you guys are feeling really good, bliss. Maybe it was just bringing up a lot. It depends, but we're kind of going through some big shifts this month, especially as we're kind of getting ready to go into the rest of the year. That was the first wave of energy this month that we went through. We're going to see 2 more of these 4-4-4 waves. So that was the first wave of energy that came in on 4-4. We're kind of settling down, and maybe a lot of you guys are feeling better after that 4-4 gateway and the supermoon. We know that the effects of that supermoon are really amplifying things, and the effects of that energy can last for several months as well. So we're feeling some of that supermoon energy. We do have one more supermoon, and that will wrap up this, as I call it, a supermoon season, which is really shaking up a lot of what's underneath, amplified a lot of things. So we had this powerful wave of energy. This entire month is a porthole, literally. Like literally we're going through like this space porthole, and it will close at the end of the month. So we can expect another wave of energy is going to come in on the 13th, which is Monday. I like to kind of count back from these storms to figure out when the peaks are, because I like to start my work and kind of start to flow. You'll notice I'm coming back to work today, right? And things like that. So a lot of people are feeling a lot of these energies beginning to once again come in. And like I said, these are waves of fifth dimensional energies. When we talk about heaven, a lot of people picture that as a mythological type of place that you may or may not get to when you die, right? Depending on how good you are, right? This is where a lot of people's notion of heaven is, right? Not that heaven and hell are states of consciousness and we're choosing them based on our vibrational kind of frequency, but a lot of people are not aware and haven't mastered these things. So heaven would be kind of a state of consciousness as well, and it would be clearly on a higher frequency. So what is happening is that we've been anchoring into these higher vibrational frequencies, And there is a splitting that's occurring that a lot of people are kind of feeling, where some people might be telling you about their world and it's not sounding like that where you live, right? Like, or things like that. And I know that some people are being more affected by, we'll say, some of these things going on in the collective than other people. Some people aren't really being affected at all, or noticing much of a shift or transition, depending on how anchored into the new you have really become. And we are already living in the new earth, right? A lot of people are still focused on the old, but we're meant to be, we'll say, adjusting to these new frequencies. All right. So we have a lot of energy that's going to really start to, we'll say, peak Saturday and this weekend, and we have another wave of energy coming in Monday. And then when we do the new moon on the 22nd, which is in Taurus, that will be the remaining 444 wave of energy, which will close that porthole. So from the 4th, which has already clearly gone by, until the we'll say the 22nd, we're really in a really powerful stream of energy. A lot of people are going to be waiting to get back to life as normal, they say, right? To come out of quarantine. And I do have some issues with some of the information being told to everyone, because some of it is misleading, but I understand where it's kind of a big situation people are trying to deal with. I believe we're going to be quarantined longer than people are being led to believe right now, and that we should kind of try to see this from a higher perspective, that this might be a good thing, that people are able to kind of stop for a minute, rest, especially going through some of these ascension energies. Some people are needing that space. A lot of people hopefully are spending more time with their families and getting back to the basics as well, to what is essential and what isn't in their lives, which is kind of a lot of what this awakening is meant to do for people anyway. It's very important that we're staying positive as we're going through these transitions, because a lot of the people that are finding my videos are light workers or healers or star seeds, people here doing something bigger than themselves. So it's important that we are not slipping backwards, because people are kind of at different places in their lessons, and some people might be getting sick or might be panicking or having a lot of fear. And I see a lot of light workers that are like, we'll say, arguing or trying to post facts, or, we need to set aside knowledge or what you think you know for a minute, because I assure you, I get into this stuff, and the more we think we know, consciousness is vast. It isn't what it seems. We are in a holographic simulation, and people are not understanding why are bad things happening here. Why is this happening? We get challenges, and this is going to be a challenging year. We are getting pushed through a lot of growth very fast. So we need to understand that everyone else isn't getting the same lessons as you, and we each have a unique path. So a lot of people may get sick or have challenges. This is life, right? Or have challenges or death or things they're going through, right? We all have different lessons on a soul level. So it's important that we realize that, instead of panicking like, oh my God, that we're all having our own experience. And the reason why we're seeing so much more challenge is because we're coming to the end of all of this. And so a lot of people are getting a lot of hard lessons fast, literally, and that is what this place is about. But it literally is a place where we are meant to change, we are meant to grow, we're meant to kind of come back to who we are underneath all of that, which is spiritual beings. I already knew, I was always talking about this stuff, and I said that just with the people that are awake on this planet and the understanding of who we are once again, and getting into this spiritual stuff, there was no way that on whatever level this stuff would not fall in. Like literally, that there is no way that the human soul is powerful, and there is a desire for a deeper liberation right now. And that's why we chose to experience all of this weighing us down, holding us back, so that we could, come here and, I guess, facilitate kind of this deeper liberation that is going on. So for sure, literally, there is an agenda, and there always will be, to keep humanity at a state of fear. A lot of that fear comes from the mainstream media, right? Things like that, right? But there's already been a lot of things. I say set aside some of the issues you think are going on, okay? Because I know there's a lot of like conspiracy theories coming out right now. But there are very real issues going on that I think we can all see with our own eyes, right? Some of the things. And so we need to know that whatever's going on, it's part of a bigger narrative, and we just kind of have to relax with it and trust the universe and where it's leading us. But it's very important that we are staying positive going through this transition, and that we're understanding the things that we've been learning are meant to, guide us on our path now and our journey wherever it's going to take us. All right, I anticipate this year being one of a lot of healing. I keep on trying to tell people that I see really good things. Yes, we see a lot of negative things that are occurring, but there are a lot of very positive things that are happening, and there is a deeper healing. I believe that with everyone quarantined, that we can actually elevate a lot faster and heal a lot faster, because a lot of people are just continuing to kind of go into the old. Now, the issues I see happening is that we're in higher frequency energies, and just as our body is needing time to adjust. Yeah, I know a lot of people are like laying around, can't move, need more space, need more time to chill, whatever it is. Our body's going through a big adjustment, but we are too. We're going to have to learn how to live differently now. Yes, in these new energies. So people that are dealing with toxic situations, it might be really bad for you now. People that are dealing with, we'll say, health kind of issues, that will probably be magnified going into these energies. So it's really important that we are learning how to master our energy and ourself. Yeah, energy, it's going to be a hot topic, right? A lot of people aren't really into it. I do energy healing. Some of you guys know that, right? I do energy healing, and a lot of people aren't really into it during this time, but people are going to get into energy and understand just how powerful it is as we move forward with this awakening and this ascension. So we're kind of getting back to energy. Some people are feeling it, some people aren't feeling it. I believe that as we go forward on this path, everyone's going to become increasingly more and more, we'll say, energetically sensitive as well as psychically sensitive as well, because we're going through this huge expansion of consciousness. So this is a lot of growth fast. Some people are feeling kind of chaotic. If you guys are feeling like it's too much for you, take a minute, take a break, unplug from your social media, right? Things like that. Things should kind of move forward. But just know that sometimes these negative experiences are used for the positive, right? In some regard. So I'm not happy with everyone arguing, but I'm happy that I'm seeing deep things kind of hitting different places. I see there was some type of hold on. There was some type of, YouTube deleted like one of David Icke's videos, and all of a sudden it was all over the mainstream media. 5G suddenly made it all over mainstream media, where people are saying, is this from 5G? My favorite, right? All over the place. There were enough conspiracy theory videos to bring it up, but it wasn't all over mainstream media where they were having these topics for the first time in a long time. No, I don't believe this is related. I think that we're giving a little too much credit to some of these, we'll say, garbage antennas all over the planet. Human technology, garbage antennas. This is something divine and much bigger than all of that. This is an awakening. This is energy. And that's what we're going to realize, just how powerful energy is. We've been looking for God, a lot of our third dimensional existence, in like places and books and churches and things like that. And we're going to realize it's an energy that is, within us and without and everything. And for this energy just kind of streaming in, it's meant for us to create the new earth with it. So a lot of people are getting really hung up on the old and negativity, and it must be this and this must be bad. Time to stop looking back, especially if that isn't your reality, right? Unless unless they're setting up like maybe one of these receivers by your house and you're concerned. Time to let go of how you're viewing the collective. It's time to really shift that focus inward though, and focus on yourself. These are divine energies. I know a lot of people aren't feeling like that because they're not in a pure enough state, just because of how we've been programmed to kind of wait for that illusionary heaven and not to work and attain it here. So these are meant to be divine energies. They are powerful. This is just the beginning. They're going to get more and more intense as well. So things are not going back to normal, right? We're going to have kind of an intense year if people aren't figuring that out, because we do have a lot of eclipses and things like that. So it's going to get intense, but this is meant to recalibrate us on a physical level. A lot of people are feeling that nervous system recalibration, like I said, and are feeling energy more intensely, maybe just tuning into the senses. Some of you guys are not sleeping. I think that could be attributing to a lot of the global problems too. People aren't getting the same quality sleep. They're stressed out. We know that can be bad for the body, right? Things like that. But we know that's happening too. A lot of you guys are having like crazy dreams, astral experiences. We know that the energies coming in are powerful and they're affecting our third eye as well as like our astral body, everything kind of going on with our consciousness. So we're going through a lot of growth fast. I think that we're going to see a fall of the material. And like now, I think it's already happened and people aren't even aware with some of these shutdowns and how they've already affected things. And that's okay, because, you know, we've been trading in our spiritual power for the material for a long time. And we're going to see a massive shift throughout the collective as well that is going to really reflect these internal shifts that we're going through. Like literally that the entire collective is going to be transformed and changed, and that can be a little bit chaotic. So stay positive about where this will all bring us, like on every regard as we're going through this year for sure. All right, and I'll be back. I know I'm early. My life is falling in the trash can. It is okay. I am on my 3rd week of holiday, right? Facebook ban, so my life's falling into, and that is okay. So I know what people are going through, the people that have been laid off from their jobs and sent home. I am also under quarantine, right? Well, I'm in the UK where things are progressing here, and things like that. So I think that we're all being kind of affected in different ways. And, you know, it can be hard to talk about things like love and light in this world. Right? Sometimes it's not wanted. I see that. I'm going to keep trying to go forward for sure. So I am here. I will be back on Facebook on Monday, and I'm really looking forward to that because I'm going to go work in our class spaces and bring you guys some good content. This is really reminiscent of past lives. So I can't wait to have some fun conversations about past lives and some of the lessons. And that's why we're seeing this fear surfacing, especially in America, that that was already the lesson for a lot of these souls. People might not realize that we have simple lessons we come here to conquer. Some of it, a lot of people that would have had past incarnations in places like Atlantis and possibly Egypt, fear might be the lesson. Literally, that's always been the thing blocking us. So we do have a lot of this stuff surfacing. Some of it's from past incarnations. All right. The hemp mystic. Star ancestors, hidden secrets, lost wisdom. Look a little deeper. We have so much assistance right now. Some of you guys are seeing the magic everywhere. Whether it's just like these gateways are great for manifesting. I swear. Sometimes I get stagnant. Like I feel like I'm always running around and I'm not getting anywhere. And then I can always tell that with these gateways, everything just starts to flow in a line. And I believe that has to do with the energies, and that, you know, anything in the material is an energetic manifestation as well. So sometimes we're trying to manifest things and these energies just start to move everything. I can't imagine if they ever really do let us out of quarantine, because I'm not convinced at this point. I'm sorry over here, and I'm trying to be positive about it. That is a positive thing though from my view, right? So I'm not convinced that we're going to be let out anytime soon. I think that there's a very real possibility this quarantine could last maybe a year and we're not being told. I'm not sure. So we're kind of in this quarantine space, but I will tell you that as these energies are progressing, they are opening up, right, portholes to other worlds, gateways, but your ancestors are with you. So a lot of people are noticing magic, synchronicity, things aligning, feeling good. How about like feeling states of bliss, feeling optimistic, feeling like the good things are coming. So, you know, if we're following our internal guidance, you guys are having energies all around you, and sometimes it can be hard to discern, right, what some of these energies are. I know with myself too, sometimes it can be hard to tell, but for sure we have angels coming through, loved ones, family members, right, aliens during this time. You know, some of you guys are working with like elementals, fairies, dragons, different kinds of magic, right, all sorts of beautiful kind of spiritual things kind of coming out during this time as well. So a lot of you guys are able to kind of see past the veil more and more, and maybe you're just noticing more of the magic around you. It doesn't matter if you guys feel that, you know, maybe that you're not tuning into this stuff. You are. Everything in your life is the universe guiding you. Literally. It doesn't matter if it's something you're watching on TV or something you're seeing online. It is your lessons, I swear. And people are like, what? Yeah, the movies you watch, the things you're drawn to, the things you're being guided to see. It doesn't matter if it is this video. This is a lesson for you in some way. And sometimes we're not always noticing the lesson. It's okay. Our subconscious is absorbing it all, and these are things that we need in whatever regard. So pay attention. You're being guided. Our dreams. I go in the craziest worlds prior to my awakening in the dream realms anyway. I guess I'm someone who I guess has a lot of astral and out of body kind of experiences. And, you know, as we're going through this awakening, it is doing kind of crazy things to my sleep state where I'm tuning in. I'm clearly traveling to other places when I'm going to sleep. So some of you guys might be just having like more number codes, more dreams that you're remembering. For sure, we're kind of, we'll say, merging into other higher dimensions now for the first time in a long time. And so, you know, we are able to kind of see past the veil. Everyone may not be able to. These are abilities. Just the fact that you guys are finding these spiritual videos, not everyone is, right? Some people are kind of still in that kind of limited version of reality. So you're being guided somewhere amazing. The earth is pulsating. It's literally vibrating. This is time to slow down and to get into nature. I feel like the whole world is slowing down, thank God. Like I said, if they ever let us out of quarantine, I feel like things are going to move real fast again, right? Everyone will be like in a hurry and making up for lost time, but it is okay right now. We're in a place where we're meant to slow down, and that's perfect because we're going into, we're going to end Aries season this month, and we're going to go into Taurus season. And, you know, like for one of the events I have up, which will be 5/5 for the porthole, it's like my birthday. Then so we go into some kind of slower energy, and I'm okay with that. You know, we literally have time to do this work. We are always in a rush kind of run around mentality, and for the first time in a while, people are going to have to slow down, and that's a good thing because we heal a lot faster. So if you're feeling a call to rest, go for it. Meditate more, try to sleep more, kind of dream more, get into the astral. Zaz, love it. Child of the cosmos, the intelligence of the universe lies within you. Literally, you have an entire universe within you, right? Everything that you need, literally. Now, this stuff is hard because I'm learning how to master reality too. But I like to think I'm pretty good at it with my own life. Like I've gotten pretty good at it. You know, I've done a lot of crazy stuff and kind of stepped outside the box with what I tried to create. So I like to think I got kind of good at it, but this stuff is hard. Like it can be hard to stay positive all the time, especially when we're seeing more and more of what's really there. So we have to do our part. We have to stay positive, and we have to try to stay at a high frequency. This is how we're going to kind of vibrate above all of this stuff. So it can be hard, but that's why we're in this crazy environment, so that we can practice and kind of see what we're about. All right, Lost Lands. And these are my favorite kind of cards. It's like underwater ocean worlds. Soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. Literally, your soul came from ascended states. Now, we had the hardest time descending and coming to Earth, as a lot of you guys saw, as we tried to, we'll say, get used to this planet. If any of you guys are parenting, then you get the opportunity to see how a lot of these kids, it takes them time to kind of, as I say, adjust to Earth, right? Welcome to Earth School, and they forget too when they're going through this adjustment. So some of you guys can kind of see maybe what you were going through kind of adjusting. It was a big adjustment for us to drop down in density into such a low frequency. In fact, some starseeds even got sick and maybe didn't feel good trying to navigate those low frequencies. Now I see the reverse is happening, where this is a third dimensional planet, and a lot of the souls on this planet are struggling to get out of the third dimension. It's why there was a need for all the starseeds and light workers to come here. This is a planet that has been, we'll say, living out of balance and with a lot of karmic debt, right? Creating karma and kind of going through, not being nice to each other and kind of going through these emotions. And we agreed to come here to lift up the frequencies of this planet. Now, as these energies are coming in, a lot of people are struggling with the higher frequencies because they're used to vibrating at a low frequency. And I'm sure without having done a lot of inner work and trying to be, you know, being comfortable on these lower frequencies, as we're getting all this 5D energy streaming in, it can be very uncomfortable for people, or could be making people even sick as they're learning how to kind of adjust and their body is struggling to keep up kind of with this ascension and all these energies coming in. All right. Holistic Spoonie. Oh, I had to come say hi. I know, I'm in my own little bubble over here. I'm in my own little worlds over here, and I'm okay with that. I should come out and say hi. I try to do videos, though. It always makes me feel better when I do. So even though you guys are quarantined, make sure that you're still trying to vibe and hang out with people and say hi. I believe we're meant to be very social creatures, and that if you are around the right energy, it can be really uplifting for you. So I thought I would come do coffee in a chat. All right. Correct. Longing for home, homesick for the stars. A lot of souls are homesick and want off this planet, and a lot of people think that death will do that. As we're seeing with this awakening, that the soul continues to learn even in other dimensions, right? Some of you guys might even associate this awakening in those ideas, right? That we're going to continue to learn. So it doesn't matter. We continue to work on the same lessons as a soul. So it's really important that we are working on our lessons this life and completing them. There's nothing more important, right? A lot of times we're focused on trying to help others with their lessons or wanting to, assist others in whatever way. Really focus on your own lessons that have been coming up, kind of your own journey, your own soul, because you're doing a deep cellular healing, Arcturian energy, physical and emotional healing. And a lot of you guys have a lot of, we'll say, beautiful beings working with you. If you're a starseed, just know that you for sure have your star family around you, assisting you from other places. That's why it's important that we're being more clear about what we need during this time or want, or things that we're trying to create or manifest. And like I said, a lot of people are focused on the old, and I think it's challenging for us to focus on what we're creating in the new, right? Because this is kind of something that hasn't quite transpired. A lot of people are living in the new earth, but there's still a lot of influence of the old right now. And so I think it is kind of challenging for us to focus on the new. So for me, what I've always focused on is just seeing a planet as an our planet where everyone's healthy and happy at the least, right? Where everyone's healed. We didn't used to have illnesses like this all over the planet. I remind people that we don't have a need for these third dimensional lessons anymore, that if we could elevate our frequency to a certain place, we would no longer get sick. We would no longer age. We would no longer have the same lessons of the third dimension, which probably are never really great for the soul to go through. So we can work on raising up our, we'll say, spiritual frequency, right? Raising up our vibrational frequency, and we're going to attract different lessons to us. So it doesn't surprise me that, at a low vibrational, people do get sick, or are in lack, or, are seeing things negatively, or are struggling. And, it's through this, hold on a sec. Hi, can you just leave it outside? I don't know how to close the door. Robin? Yeah. Miller? Thank you. All right, getting them out. Okay, so if we raise our vibrational frequency, we're going to begin to attract new things for us. I think a lot of people are always under this notion, which is very third dimension, that we're having the same experience, that we're going to be experiencing the same collective, and we don't have to wait for the collective to do anything. We can live in the new earth now, and these energies now. So we have to live differently to be navigating the fifth dimension. So in the third dimension, a lot of people are on those frequencies because of, we'll say, a lot of toxic overload still. A lot of people need to detox. That's part of this. And people are like, wait, not me, I'm healthy. All right, okay, well, that's debatable. We wouldn't see so much illness if we didn't have kind of a toxic overload going on. So detoxing is really important. I'm huge on removing the metals from the body. I believe that we all had exposure to them. It doesn't matter if you're drinking bottled water. It's in our water. We're bathing in it. It's in our air. It's in our soil. We have a lot of kind of contaminants that have been weighing us down. I even believe there's always been a larger agenda right, to make sure that we are kept at a low frequency, whether it's through the fear on the media, right, or just, get this healthcare that's really not good for us, or things like that. So detoxing is one really good way to raise your vibrational frequency. Make sure you're taking more herbs and vitamins. In 3D, we're seeing GMO food, right? And kind of lower frequency foods. And then when we're learning how to navigate the fifth dimension, I believe you'll get to such a, we'll say, spiritual vibrational frequency that you won't be able to eat the same kind of garbage foods. You'll probably crave, more veggies, fruit, organic foods, things like that. So definitely the things that we're putting in our body are going to matter more and more too. Keep working at raising your vibration. All right, Lisa Lazard. Empathic starseed, energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. Ooh, this is a good topic today. All right, so as empaths, we are used to taking on other people's issues. That was something like I had a we'll say a bad relationship like not that long ago, and energetically I had a lot kind of transferred to me that wasn't even mine, like a lot of, we'll say, energetic garbage and a lot of heavy stuff that really had nothing to do with me or my lessons. But that's been happening to empaths their entire lives, whether it was you were just absorbing a lot from your parents or becoming like them too much, or you were in toxic relationships and taking on a lot of heavy stuff, or just maybe toxic friendships and trying to heal people, trying to change people, all things that empaths can kind of deal with. And now we're dealing with something even different where we're seeing a lot of, not now like this week, but we just saw a lot of heaviness with the collective. And don't think that we're done seeing this, we'll say, collective purging that will continue to unfold as well, because as the vibrations are going up, there is kind of a purge like effect that occurs, individually and even collectively. So we're seeing a lot of that kind of transpire. Let go of it. It isn't yours. Like I just said, these collective lessons are not ours either. So just kind of let go of it. If it isn't yours, the drama with the collective, issues with other people, we need to stop taking on things that are not good for us at a certain point as well. Some things that can help with that are unplugging from things like the news, television. If Facebook's too much, because we're going to see a lot more craziness, maybe just take some time off of social media, spend more time recharging. I like salt baths, sage, right? Take care of your energy, good boundaries, things like white light all really help. All right, Susan. Inner Earth, you'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. You have a lot releasing with the root chakra. This is okay though, as we're seeing all that fear that just surfaced, and thank God I feel it's dissipated. We just saw a lot of fear rise through the collective. And just know that we are interconnected. We like to point over there and be like, that's not my lesson, right? This is our lesson. If you look at the collective, this is just one point of view in one lifetime of your own Akashic. It goes deep, right? So as we're seeing that fear that was just rising, and maybe some people were feeling that too. I was feeling a little bit nervous with where some of this stuff could lead us. That is normal, right? We can't kind of be going through this experience without feeling that. Just know that there's been a huge release with these energies coming in with the root chakra lately, with this fear, right? And that has always been our obstacle. If you're feeling ungrounded, or if you're feeling fear or anxiety rise up, go connect with the earth while we can. While we can. Try to connect with the earth more though, even if it's just like, doing an energy exchange with it. I like to telepathy different, we'll say, entities, including the earth that I work with. Go put your hands on it, try to get outside, try to get some fresh air. We're real locked in here, but I like to open my windows and get a lot of fresh air all day. All right, so work on your root chakra, letting go of fear for sure. All right, it's a lot of change in density fast. Literally, it's like I said, it's a big effect on the body. And so, a lot of people are realizing we have a lot of work ahead of us as well. So, this is a lot, but you can handle this. We can handle this energetically. And I like to think it will get better and better, and that people will be feeling better and better the more that they release and the more inner work everyone does. All right, Brian, good morning. All paths lead home. Inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within, and I guarantee you I'm going to go, if I'm ever unlocked, that I will find one of these labyrinths with the rock circles. I was already looking for one here, so it's kind of a synchronicity for me. And so a lot of people would judge some of our paths if they saw them, I'm sure. Well, sometimes paths that aren't making sense to other people, are leading somewhere amazing. So just keep going forward on your path. This isn't for everyone. You'll notice that light workers or starseeds tend to have a different path with things. So it doesn't matter where you've been. It's about who you are now, where this path has led you, and hopefully somewhere amazing. So I know it's been a long road getting here, but we're in a space of healing, and that's really, really powerful. All right, your life is a canvas. You're an artist. Focus on manifestation, creative accountability. We don't have to worry about the people that are asleep and what they're creating. It's actually the light workers and the people that are awake that are, we'll say, connected to the new earth that are creating it. So a lot of people get kind of scared looking at the collective as they're seeing it and are not understanding that there are many souls here that have done a lot of inner work and have been anchoring the light into, their life and experience and things like that. And, that we're doing this work for the entire planet, as I'm saying. So just really stay focused on the positive, what it is that you're manifesting. I have my own challenges. I said I teach I teach via video. A lot of you guys know that. And so how do I, how do I continue to teach people how to manifest when we're locked in quarantine and don't really have access to some of the same things that people would be manifesting? It is okay. I think that this is a good space to focus on using our abilities for the collective. Like I said, we can focus on the entire planet healthy and healed and in abundance. And it doesn't matter how we get to that end result. I think it's important that we're visualizing the new earth. Literally, like, what if this whole planet was made new again, right? Like, everyone healthy, happy, these high vibrational states, a literal Eden. That was what this planet once was, kind of a heaven on earth kind of place. And we are headed there. So I know we get kind of stuck on the details. Just really stay focused on assisting, with healing this planet. Mallory, good morning. I can actually kind of go a little slower on here because it's smaller feeds, so I am liking it. My little exile. All right, Mallory, karmic relationships, Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, and conflict. We have things in our DNA that have been blocking us, I swear. And I sound like the ancient alien guy with everything, right? Alien DNA, right? Let's talk alien DNA. But a lot of us do. You might have had a harder path in your childhood because you're working with crazier DNA, but you're more powerful now from it all. So sometimes we go into these family lines and we do a lot of transmuting, and people are like, well, what does that look like? Sometimes it could look like addiction, alcohol, abuse, right? Traumas, things that suddenly surfaced in our generation, or things that were suddenly surfacing or coming out, or things that were always there and people just weren't mentioning, right? As starseeds are kind of coming through these lines. So you've done a lot of work in, we'll say, transmuting your DNA. We're going through this change, right? This metamorphosis. So sometimes these things don't make sense to us when we're kids or when we're really in the experience. We've cleared so much karma this life, and that is assisting, our parents. First off, the first place we began learning with our parents, that was assisting our parents and helping clear their karma, or people that we were learning with. So we've done a lot of clearing as well. These are also deep lessons in self-love as well, that the lessons that are karmic are always pushing us back to ourselves, to understanding ourselves better, to getting rid of and releasing bad habits, for sure. All right. There's a lot of Venus energy on the planet. Pleasure, joy, time to make love to life. Right? And that is so true. We have a lot of love energy on the planet now, though. And, it doesn't matter if you guys are in relationships or you're not. Just really focus on love right now with the heart chakra. And I think that those that are not in a space of love are going to have a very hard time passing through these ascension portholes. I know it's hard to talk about because people take it the wrong way. I'm just someone who's learning I'm tuning into something bigger than myself with consciousness in the universe. And, I've always tried to get on video to try to kind of share the things that I've learned in hoping that it would make people's lives better. That, this stuff really helped very rapidly change my life. And so that's always been my intention with it. But I think that people are going to have a very hard time living in and navigating these higher frequencies, energies that are not in a space of love and that are choosing to be in kind of a space of fear. That's why it's kind of negative. The news and the stuff everywhere is kind of making things worse for people, and also not giving people kind of a realistic perspective. So it's important that we're doing a lot of deep heart chakra work. And some of the traumas and experiences that we've had this life have impacted us very deeply, because these are, reoccurring past life lessons that continue to come with us in the hopes that we break these cycles now. And so the lessons that we've been through this life, right, they have had a big impact on our heart chakra. And most of all, us believing that we were separate from each other and the whole, it's so deeply painful for our heart chakra. And we also have a deeply painful past life akashic in a lot of regards. So we do a lot of deep healing now with our heart chakra, with this ascension. And also it's the chakra most affected by these energies, right? Like taking them in. So we do have a need to do a little bit more heart chakra work. Keep working on that chakra. Oh my God, I see all our gardens look so nice out here. This is my dream. Sorry, guys. I know, right? If you guys are struggling, if you're worried about you lost your job or money, maybe shift over into Reiki, right? Get into a mission. That's what I heard is going to happen to people in these spaces, that people are going to learn how to unplug and navigate life differently. The gardens all look really nice outside. That's what we said yesterday, that people are gardening and getting outside and connecting with the earth. So for sure, try to get outside, try to get some fresh air. It's a good time for that. If you guys are having a hard time and have been going through a lot of like seeing changes in your life, I know a lot of people got sent home from work or might have lost their jobs. You're probably going to have to go get a job being essential or create a new job or something like that. So we are in a space where some people are being affected more. I'm seeing that some people that have already done the inner work and have anchored into maybe higher frequency kind of timelines probably aren't being affected as much. So just see this as a space to heal for sure. All right, lovely Cano. Cracked open. Rock bottom. Surrender to the alchemy of life. I feel I hit that place a lot. It can be really hard to have the path, like I said, of a light worker, right? And things like that. Keep going, for sure. We've put in so much work to get to this place. All right, the blue flame. Spontaneous awakening, activation, integration, and time. And like I said, this is an awakening. And sometimes we go through those layers of fear as well as we're going through this awakening. So we have souls that are awakening from this. And that's why we have so much, we'll say, chaos in one spot, that there's a lot of people that are awakening and are kind of at different levels. So we kind of need to see this. But this is going to continue to awaken us this year. And, the ego will convince all of us that we don't need to do any work and we're perfect and we're great and we don't have any healing work to do. But I like to think that we have years ahead of us with this ascension and things are about to get real. So this is a space, regardless of what level we're at or where we are going to heal deeper, and that we're going to continue to, we'll say, activate and upgrade and kind of go through this process. And many people are kind of getting used to this. I feel ascension symptoms all the time. I'm very energy sensitive and we're always feeling them here, in whatever regard. So I believe that everyone's body is processing this energy differently and that it's kind of going where it's needed, much like Reiki or healing, and that we're all kind of processing it differently, but it's for sure affecting us all. And, here to play a role in this awakening. All right, Dwight. Love it. Good. All right. Wait, it's not time yet. Things are being woven. And I always say that about the word quarantine is very galactic, right? Our universe was already quarantined, but now we're really quarantined even more, right? So it's kind of a galactic word, but I like to look at it as a space where we haven't quite shifted into the new, but we have outgrown the old, and we're kind of here in a space kind of waiting. So it's important that we're staying positive and you are seeing past the veil, right? Lifting the veil. Questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go. And especially with these videos, I don't watch videos. It would be very rare that I would. And I have my own reasons because I am a channel. And I spend my time instead tuning into the universe and things like that. And the reason why is because I believe there's a lot of people doing videos, and sometimes these videos, like I've seen this with a lot of the Q videos going around, where they come from one source and then everyone starts like parroting back and regurgitating a lot of misinformation and information that doesn't really resonate with me with this awakening. So I choose to spend my time differently with this. But if you guys are tuning into videos, that's good for learning. Make sure that you're resonating with what you're choosing to take away from that video. So anyone can make a video and put their opinion out. I hope more people do. But when you're watching them, make sure you're taking what resonates, right? Some people have seen my videos, especially with some of these things going on, and they're like, I don't like your videos anymore because you're mentioning politics. And that's okay. We're not going to agree with everything. I'm going through my own crazy life here, right? And I know you guys have your own lessons, and we're not going to align with everything. So when you are, reading something or choosing to take something into your reality, make sure it resonates with you. I saw so many posts going around and the power's going out now for the whole planet and the Wi-Fi. And I'm sitting here looking at my Facebook feed, scrolling though, right? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. That's definitely wrong. But, people are, if they want to try to create that, that's okay. But I think it's important that we're taking positive things into our reality that we want to manifest. So, the mind's a powerful thing. Whatever we're telling it is going to create. And so make sure that you guys are aligning with, we'll say, positive things that will enhance your reality or make it better. All right, Debbie Potter. A new earth. This is the message of the day, right? A new earth. It's happening. Keep holding the vision. So like I said, we need to visualize this to bring it better into our reality. Focus on everyone healthy, healed, a new earth. Higher states of consciousness. We're going to go back to living so differently. I don't like, right? Okay, first off, people are asking about disclosure. First off, they're not even disclosing ascension. I wouldn't hold your breath on aliens. This is what should be all over the mainstream media, though. By the way, space news reports and things like that, right? So we don't see that happening, which is why we kind of see a lot more chaos with this. I believe that we're going to go back to living, in a galactic society once again. And people are like, well, why are we not having a disclosure? We're going to have literal ships landing and more of a, we'll say, galactic merger once the third dimension completely goes away. So while we still have these third dimensional kind of government and political timelines, obviously it's not good for the higher dimensional and things like that. So there will come a space where we're actually seeing that. In past places, these were different places where life would have revolved around the spiritual, and there was nothing more important than, coming together in groups of learning, in relationships, things like that. So we're really headed back into this spiritual state. And I know that because, as we're evolving and growing back into these spiritual beings, the soul will no longer be satisfied with the material. Literally, you guys are probably viewing things differently, I hope, in your life about the material and things like that. So while a lot of people might still have a material kind of focus or tracked mind, a lot of you guys have kind of transcended out of that already or are, and your soul is craving something different now, right? To learn, to understand the spiritual. So we're kind of moving out of that, like I said, material space. There will be an actual crumbling that it will occur as these timelines are kind of splitting. Okay, Erica Anderson. Oh yeah, huge shifts. You guys should be starting to feel a little bit better, like I said this week, and we are going to have another wave of energy coming in. These energies are powerful. I use them for my job and healing and things like that. You guys could be, meditating. Like I said, rest if you need it. We're in a space, like literally, pay attention to your body because it's a lot of energy, but we're going to get more and more used to this energy as well as we go through this awakening and continue on our path. We should get, I'll say, better and better adjusted to the energies too, for sure. All right, Erica, the seas of Manteca, seeing potential, bringing the unconscious to light. And that's what the moon's doing right now. It is just bringing out what's already there. And people are like, oh my God, the world's getting worse and worse. Well, it's probably not. You're probably just seeing more and more of what's already there. Right? So for sure, we're seeing more and more of what's there. Okay, you got the love. Hadarian energy. Make sure that you're not being codependent. Set good boundaries. I know, right? Sometimes empathy and codependency go together as well and things like that. And people don't realize how powerful their energy is. As an empath, you're probably a starseed, right? You're probably a healer. And so we don't realize sometimes we attract relationships and people that aren't good for us. I think that sometimes we get confused with these relationships and why people would seek us out life after life or choose to find us, right? As healers and things like that. So really work on having good boundaries. No more people pleasing, whether it's just in your friendships or relationships. Really work on having good boundaries for sure. But just know you have really good energy. Or we wouldn't draw the weird stuff. So people will always try to convince you with a lot of these spiritual things that there must be something wrong with you and everyone else is great, right? And it must be you, but we usually we attract, weird dynamics as, like I said, light workers sometimes. So sometimes we can have someone really empathic and compassionate and they will attract the opposite of that. Sometimes we talk about, right, the narcissist dynamic and things like that. But these are all kind of 3D lessons. Like I said, hopefully we kind of elevate out of that too. All right, just see any type of if you guys have dealt with stuff like that, it's a catalyst into our awakening though. So sometimes we get these kind of weird lessons to speed up our spiritual evolution, because why would we agree to do this as a soul, right? Why would we agree to experience these things? So it is meant to kind of put you deeper within. All right, Majestic Creations. big picture thinking, Pleiadian energy, visionary, inspired ideas. And so, like I said, we have a lot of this Pleiadian energy around us now. A lot of you guys might resonate with that, or remember that you guys have had past lives in a lot of places that were very galactic, places that your soul is dying to create here, this life, that we didn't come here to even dismantle the old or to fit into it. We're going to create something entirely new. I'm still having a hard time, despite all of my training and this role that I play in all of this, having a hard time kind of wrapping my head around it and where things are headed. But I know that things are really going to speed up now in getting us there. Make sure you're taking care with your thoughts. Body care, tenderness, and rest. And take care with your thoughts. We're manifesting next level. We're instant manifesting this entire month. Sometimes our manifestations take a second to kind of catch up and materialize, but whatever we're thinking about now, we're for sure manifesting. So do you see why suddenly there's an attempt to distract everyone so greatly? Because we are in a space where we're creating the new. So if we're focused on the old, we'll probably see more and more of that, right? So it's important that we're kind of like unplugging from what's going on around us and just really staying focused on the future, the new things you want to see. All right. Let's see. Haley, love it. I know it's my new favorite shirt. I've been adjusting to living in Britain for maybe a couple of years now. And it's kind of weird with some of the things. I feel like I'm on like a parallel Earth timeline. I probably did end up on one. And so some of the things like, let's just say manifesting maybe a t-shirt might be really hard to do here. They have their own kind of world here that I'm learning how to navigate, so it makes me happy when I can do that. All right, Haley, the golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, and rare gifts. And we're getting back to a pure state now. That is, anything that is not pure is going to continue to be released, purged out. And, you know, I think a lot of what we see is the collective experiencing huge purge-like effects. So as we go up in frequency, it can take a minute. We are releasing a lot. Guess what? We're purifying. This is a literal energy that is meant to purify us on every level. So just kind of go with it. We're in a porthole this month. Doors are opening. You decide. Rewards, wild cards. So we are quarantined, but you guys should be making manifesting lists. You have any dreams, goals, write them down. Write them down. Go make a manifesting list. Hopes, dreams, goals. What would you be doing without all of these restrictions? What would your life look like? Make sure that you're still kind of putting out good things into the collective. We see a lot of people contributing a lot of fear. And this is scary, or this could happen. And it's important that we're contributing good things too. All right, Jennifer Dawes. Breath of the cosmos. My will to thy will. Micromanaging the universe. It's important that we kind of surrender right now. A lot of people had all of their path and I'm going to do this in 5 years and I'm going to do that. And then suddenly, oh my God, we're all quarantined. And I think we're realizing that there are forces much bigger than ourselves that are guiding us and leading us during this transition. So we kind of have to surrender what we want on some level for the good of humanity during this time. So if things aren't kind of making sense, just see the bigger picture that there's a lot of humans living on this planet and maybe it isn't that great for people's health kind of living this way, and that we're going to go through a really big transformation. You should be remembering your soul plan, the fated life versus the destiny light. And that's what I try to do on these videos, try to remind people, hi, right? I'm just trying to remind you of your power, of who you are past this role that we're here on Earth School playing. You're infinite, you are powerful, you are a goddess. So really just kind of tune into yourself during this time, your abilities. All right, JB. Earth, learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. So, you know, we're having this human experience, but we are so much more spiritually. I think that we're realizing a lot of people are facing their fear of death, and there's souls that have even transcended death and are doing this awakening path and things like that. All right, the void. Time to stop. Embrace the winter. You're in the cosmic womb. The best post I saw about like coronavirus was someone said, we are in the womb now. Officially, we're in the cocoon, literally. And how symbolic. Everyone got quarantined to their homes. Time to spend some time in the cocoon. And I believe that when we do emerge, life as we know it is going to change. A lot of you guys are noticing it's nicer outside. You're noticing the healing occurring. The frequencies are going up. It's feeling better. Hopefully you're feeling, states of bliss or feeling amazing. All signs that you're shifting into a higher state of consciousness. All right, I'm gonna go on that note. Right, I'm gonna go on that note. I will try to, I guess, if I don't make it here tomorrow, because I'm not a big fan of YouTube, I will be back Monday live for sure. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Anyways, it can be really hard to make videos, as we're seeing that a lot of people are, dealing with things like videos being deleted, channels being deleted. Normal people go on YouTube and they get paid to do videos, and then suddenly, if you're doing spiritual videos, it's much different. Right? There's like, instead of getting paid like the people doing makeup videos, you're being suppressed and silenced and things like that. But it is okay, because there are a lot of people that are sharing knowledge and their voice and their energy and are playing a role in this ascension. So for sure, make sure that you either like and subscribe to this channel, or maybe even just go to my website, which I always have, and you can put in your email address, and it will give you updates, because I do try to put energy reports on my website a few times a week, and that will kind of give you updates as well for these energy updates that I do. So I'm looking forward to coming back after the weekend. I'll be back just in time for the next wave. Go figure, right? So when you see me, there's probably a lot of galactic energies at play and things like that. I kind of come and go with the energies. So we have a lot of good energies coming in. This is meant to heal the planet. I know people aren't really liking that, and it can feel really uncomfortable, because as these energies are coming in these waves, it's peeling back layer upon layer, and sometimes these layers are pain, trauma, old stuff, right? Things not working, the goo, right? The bad relationships, whatever it is. So just know that this is a healing that is taking place, with every person on the planet.